multiple Orioles updates, why this man has become a savior, and why the Orioles are so glad this man is back to hopefully become a savior as well. Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest. We are here for you all season long. So many multiple Orioles updates. Gunnar Henderson returns to the lineup and returns to the Birds. That is a headline. How much has he been missed? We'll break it down. And why Brian Baker and Matt Baumann have been so solid and really unsung heroes early in this very young season. Please like, subscribe, do all of the things. My colleague Cam Bryce and I are here for you all season long. Some would call it today. Some would call it Christmas Day. Why would they call it Christmas Day? Well, they might call it Christmas Day because Gunnar Henderson is returning to the Orioles in this weekend series against the Kansas City Royals, and there probably isn't a better time for Gunnar to make his make his season debut for the Birds, because look, the Birds are struggling. Look at the numbers for a moment. You know, if you look at Jorge Mateo and Jackson Holliday, who have been filling in Gunnar's absence, and you look at the you look at the slash line, the 160, 192, 200 slash line, one extra base hit, one RBI, and 7 strikeouts in Gunnar's absence. So you really don't have to go searching too hard to understand just how much Gunnar coming back to the Orioles should mean for the middle part of that lineup and should mean for the offense. And we don't need many reminders, but allow us to take the time to examine Gunnar's numbers last year. The 37 dingers, the 92 runs batted in, the 177 hits. He had those 21 steals. A bona fide superstar, clearly missing in this 3 and 4 start because, the 3 and 4 start without your best player. I mean, so you could say, well, it's not that bad. We're close to 500 and we haven't even had our best player, but the 23-year-old superstar will provide, frankly, an immediate upgrade. It might take a little while to get his timing back. I mean, look, that's always a concern, right? When you come back from injury, how long is it going to take for Gunnar to get his timing back? Before he sustained his injury, he only played in 3 spring games. He was 1 for 6. He wasn't hitting the ball real well. But at AAA, during some of the rehab, he was hitting the ball much, much better. So again, it's a gift, a true gift, a Christmas in April, if you will, that Gunnar Henderson will return to the Orioles. And it's a really, really big deal. And so let's break down this 3 and 4 start, because it's not that the Orioles haven't done several things well. It's one key statistic that stands out to me. And the key statistic is, in the 4 defeats, in the 4 losses for the Orioles have only scored 7 runs, and they've been absolutely abysmal with runners in scoring position. 7 runs in those 4 defeats. When you dig into the offense a bit more and you look at some of the key offensive stats, the offensive stats really aren't that glaringly bad. What's glaringly bad is how well the Orioles play in those 4 games that they win and how just abysmally they hit in the 3 games that they lost. So you can look at the stats here. Almost 5.5 runs per game is a solid statistic. We can all agree on that. The slugging percentage, the on base plus slugging, above league average. You don't love to see the almost 9 strikeouts per game, obviously, but that's a team that's pressing a little bit on the offensive side. But again, the Orioles' big problem, if you break it down, is, again, in the losses, 7 runs, abysmal with runners in scoring position, and you have to believe that Gunnar's return will help in all of the above as the Orioles try to get to 500 and then back above 500 as well. It's interesting, too, if you examine the pitching stats as well, because for all the knock on the Orioles, pitching, I don't think it's been abysmal. Now, has it been in the bottom half of the league? I mean, look at the numbers. You have the 4.3 ERA, number 18. You have the earned runs against. You have a poor whip. You have, the strikeouts are decent, obviously. The walks per 9, we need to get those down. But I look at this number, and you've had 2 solid, outings from Zach Eflin. He's 1-1. Morton K'd 10, although he didn't look incredibly sharp outside of, striking out those 10. But I have faith that this rotation is going to get better. And the reason why I do is because, again, I come back to the 4 games we lost. We didn't score any runs. So the pitchers didn't get any run support. And I do believe you're going to see the ERA it's at 4.3 now. I think you're going to see it come down. So that is a piece of heartening news. The other 2 things that I want to mention are 2 players. These were 2 guys that were the last players on the roster, and in my mind, they have been the most valuable coming out of the bullpen. And why do I say they're the most valuable? I say they're the most valuable because for Matt Baumann and Brian Baker, it's hard to get middle inning guys who can just keep the game where it is, whether you're winning or you're losing. And that's exactly what Matt Baumann has been able to do. You're looking at his numbers there. And that's exactly what Brian Baker, even to a larger extent, has been able to do. 4 2/3 innings, given up nothing, and struck out 7. This is a guy who's been knocked for his inconsistency. Well, this year he's been nothing but consistent. But again, coming back to, the big news, it's not just that, these middle relievers are performing way above their pay grade, but it's that this man, Gunnar Henderson, is back for the Orioles for this Kansas City series. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest, and we'll see you soon.